Hello guys, this is Kevin from Roboperks, and today we're going to be reviewing on how to read information, in this case strings, from the serial COM on the Arduino, and we're going to be generating an output which will be returning LED on or off, okay? So in this case, let's start with a circuit. As we can see here, the requirement for this project, we need an Arduino Uno, we need an LED, we need 2 jump wires, and 220 ohm resistance. Okay, we need a 220 or higher. I'll recommend up to 1K. Due to by ohm law, the recommended current for a red LED will be around 30 milliamps. So in this case, using 220 resistance, knowing that the output of the digital high in the Arduino is going to be a 5-volt signal, that will provide us a decent milliamp current that will be lighting on this LED safely. Okay, so as you can see here, this LED has 2 little pins. The one that it's pinned in or kind of curved, that's the positive pin, and that's the one that we need to connect directly to our control pin, which in this case I selected pin number 5. We're going to be seeing a little bit further on the code, but in this case you could select any of the pin here is on the Arduino Uno. In this case, as a reference, I'm using an Arduino Uno, but the one that I have here is an Arduino Mega, which has more of digital pins. So depending on the Arduino you have available, feel free to use any pin that you would like. Okay, so the other pin in this case is going to be the negative pin, and we need to connect that in series with the resistance. And as you can see here, the other part of the resistance gets connected to ground. Okay, remember that resistance do not have polarity, so it doesn't matter the way that you place them, either left to right or right to left. It doesn't matter. It's okay. So yeah, in this case for the circuit, it's going to be pretty simple. And now let's jump straight in to the coding. So in this case, we're going to be setting the LED variable as our pin 5. In this case, it could be any pin that you would like, and we do this way because it's more comfortable for performing changes throughout the whole code. For example, instead of 5, you would like to use the build LED, you could just do 13, and that automatically is going to be reflecting that change through the whole code. Okay, so let's get it back to 5, and here in the setup, which is going to be the place where we define our initial parameters and settings from the whole code. We are defining LED as a digital output because remember that we want to be controlling the voltage output that is going to be provided to our LED. If you just wanted to turn it on or off, so that's going to be we're going to be sending a 5-volt signal or a 0-volt signal into that LED pin, okay, through that LED pin. So we're defining it as an output because it's going to be displaying information. And we then, since we're using the serial COM, we need to initialize it. In this case, this number is going to be referred to the baud rate, which is going to be the amount of bits per second that is going to be available for communication between the computer and the Arduino. In this case, the 9600 is we call it as a default baud rate, but definitely there are other numbers that we could use for a more robust communication or bit transfer. But in this case, 9600, it's perfect. Also, we're going to be providing an initial state for the LED, so we could be able to see the difference, to see the change. So when we have a time equals 0, or on the initial start of the program, we're going to be defining or setting actually the LED state to low, so it could be turned off, so that we can turn it on and see the difference. Okay, so now we have a reference as an initial point. So here in the loop section, which is going to be the section that is going to be running over and over or repeatedly, we're going to be breaking down into 3 sections. The first one is going to be asking for the user input. Okay, so here's going to be, or we are going to be notifying the user to enter a command through the serial com. So in this case, we declare a variable, and like we mentioned before, we're going to be using strings, which is going to be more comfortable. You're going to be noticing it throughout the code. It's going to be more comfortable for us to read, to manage that information, and to execute the command. Okay. So we're going to be declaring a variable, so we can store that information. In this case, it's going to be serial reading. Now, then, we are providing on the user with some indication, which in this case will be what he needs to type in on the serial com, so that uh, based on his input, we can then provide or execute the on or off of the LED. Okay. Okay. So in this case, we're adding a little function here that's going to be helping us a lot, because since in the loop section is going to be run repeatedly, it allows us to take control over the whole, let's say, process of the loop. So in this case, we're going to be using, let's going to call it as a hold time, so we can be able to wait for the user input. In this case, it's going to be the serial.available function, which allows us to know if we have some bits available on the serial com to read them and to process them and do something with them. So in this case, what we're doing is while serial.available it's equal to 0, we are not going to be doing anything. That's why there's no statement right here after a while. What this is doing, it's just holding for the user to type in an input. As soon as he types something on the serial com, this number is going to be changed. It's going to be changing from 0 to something, and then we're going to be able to store that information and execute something on the other section of the code. Okay, so in here we got something, then we need to store it, and we'll be doing so with the serial.available. Since we know that we have a number of bits available to store, we're going to be storing them as a string into our variable. We had this small delay just to make sure that the information gets stored correctly. And here, since we're managing strings, they're usually going to be last character, which could be either an enter or null, is going to be added to that string, so we need to remove it. And in this case, we're using some built-in functions from the string class, which is going to be the .length function, which returns the length, the amount of characters on that string. So in this case, if serial reading has more characters than 0, we're going to be removing the last character from that string. And we're going to be using the .remove function from the string class, which allows us to remove a set of characters from an initial position and the amount of characters I would like to remove. Okay, so in this case, we want to remove the last character. We're using the serial reading.length, which is going to be returning the amount of characters, and this -1 allows us to position ourselves on the previous character, on the last one. Okay, and then by setting the number 1 over here, we're then going to be removing that last character without affecting any of the previous information from our command. Okay, so now in the third section, on the final one, we're going to be executing the output based on the user input. And in this case, we're going to be having two options. Either if the serial reading is equal to on, and then we're going to be writing a high, which is going to be setting a viable output signal into the pin number 5 in this case, or the LED pin that you have selected, and that is going to be turning off our LED. And then also we're going to be printing on the serial com a little string just to verify that the LED is now on, that this part got executed correctly. Okay, we're also going to be doing another comparison if the serial reading is equal to off, and then we're going to be turning off or providing a 0 volt signal output to the LED pin, which is going to be turning off our LED. Okay, so this is going to be the whole code. It's pretty simple, and the thing that it's let's say the more comfortable or suited is that we're using string to do this process. If you were looking for other reference, you might see that usually they use numbers, but in this case we're using string. I feel that it's more comfortable because we have all the functionalities from the string class, and also we are able to convert from string to any of the numeric data types such as int, float, double, which I found pretty suitable, and this as a well-rounded case for whenever we are reading information throughout the serial com. Okay, so in this case I'm going to be enabling now the serial com port so we could be able to see it. I'm going to be displaying it here in this window. Oops, I have no tools. Okay, there we have it. Now I'm going to be providing the on command, and it's going to be turning the LED on, as you can see now, and also I'm going to be turning it down, providing it off. We're doing it on again so we can see the difference, and finally on off. Okay, let's turn it on, and let's type in something that is not defined. For example, we enter the letter T, and it's not going to be providing anything. As you can see, it's asking again for an user input. Okay, so if I do off, it should keep on working and executing that output. Okay, this is going to be all for today, guys. I hope that this video was useful, and thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day as well. Bye.